And this is a little progress report. Of course, we have the background that I worked on recently, and it's not bad. It's definitely better than the brown, paper, and it's better than this delightful wood paneling up here, and it's coming together well. It's a blue sky kind of background. It's working. So I think I'm leaving it alone for now, and then I'll go back and address it at another time, putting in a little more mountains and the like. As far as sections go, there's a few things I want to do, take on. One of which is in this back section of the harbor area back here. I'd like to kind of flesh that out a little bit. Right now it's just kind of a bunch of buildings that didn't fit other spots. And I think once I get a little more together, a little more work done on the actual street area back here and in this harbor area, I'll go back in and do some rethinking about what I want to have back there. At some point I was thinking about having like a little helipad, because I just wound up with a lot of kind of one like N-scale helicopters essentially. So I thought a helipad back there might make sense. It's far away from people and all the village area and all that, and it's kind of industrial back here, so that might happen. I also want to work on this track. The track currently is just kind of sitting on top of this, and in some areas you can see it's kind of floating. I'd like to kind of lock that in and get it a little more, kind of locked into the scene, as well as more of, this kind of loading dock kind of looking stuff going on. I think that would be fun. And of course I need to go back in and dial in a lot of this kind of harbor scene stuff. So, more people, more fishing, and things of that nature. And this lovely floating submarine dock thing will be fleshed into the scene as well. The boats are good. I'm going to leave them as is, put more people on, of course, and the like, but I'm not going to get any more boats. I am going to work on having this area here be a boat that's being worked on, so I'm going to kind of build that up from scratch at some point. That's another, at some point kind of thing. And I think that would bring it up to speed, along with, just getting more people, more action going here. There'll be a little more trucks being loaded and, things like that. So I think that's good. The temple area over here, there's some obvious things that need to happen. Essentially need to have, fencing and stuff around this parking area. And then there's going to be some fences. You can see I kind of, set them in. The black fence there is going to be dialed in a little bit more. And then more tourists and the like walking around. The farm area back here will be fleshed out as well. Again, more actual kind of farm stuff going on. More people working and things of that nature. The village area here and the station needs more of everything. More people, more cars. A lot of foot traffic is going to be happening back in this area. And then, of course, things like this street area and street markings and all that will be addressed as well. Let's see, leading through more street markings through here, through this, street. Obviously all the streets will have street markings, more foliage, more trees and the like. This floating, the Y bridge here will be addressed as well and kind of locked into the street, and now that I'm sure it's going to be there and everything's going to work with it, I'll go ahead and lock that in as well. The town area, I have some paper kits, some Sankei paper kits I'm going to be working on thanks to Santa-san. I got a bunch of paper kits from an anonymous donor. I know the person, but we're not actually saying who they're from. Very generous, very, very, very generous, and very cool of this person to do on their trip to Japan. And so once I get some more of those kits built, they're going to be popped into this area here. And once I know how many buildings I'm going to be working with, I'll be setting those in place, and that way I'll get a little tighter kind of situation going here, because one of the things I noticed was the streets are very large here in comparison to some of the stuff I've been using as reference material in the prototype. So I'm going to take those streets down a bit and kind of tighten up that area. And then there's a spot in back behind these back buildings here. You can kind of see there's a little platform. I'm going to move everything kind of up toward the front a bit more, get some more buildings in there, and then I'll go ahead and address that back area where that platform is. A little kind of maybe a disused station platform. Now that I have this one in front, this is going to be like the new improved station platform, and then in the back there'll be a station platform that used to be used, and it's going to be kind of run down and weathered, and there's going to be grass growing on it and the like, because it's not being used anymore. I think that'd be kind of a fun little thing. We have back here, the bus area needs to be worked on. This is kind of tossed in right now. Soyokaze Hill back here is kind of nice. This needs a little more people, and I think it'll be kind of set. And then in the back here, there's a shopping area where I might use some more of those Sankei paper buildings and flesh that area out a little bit and make it more of a shop-looking area. The big thing I need to do for the whole layout, as you can see here, is address the lighting. Essentially what I'm going to do is pop a bunch of lights in the ceiling, light this whole thing, because right now it's just this one light I'm using as like a total placeholder light, and it's creating all these crazy shadows and stuff. So essentially that needs to be addressed and dialed in as well. Now this area is looking kind of fun. I think it'll still be one of those areas that's being worked on with these trucks and the like. It needs another layer of kind of scenic detailing and doing things like getting rid of that tree, putting in maybe a smaller tree in front, and keeping things kind of lighter looking there. I'm really liking, not like you can see it right now, but this area in here is kind of a fun little area. It's a lot of traffic and a lot of tracks going. That's kind of what I like. And then the big thing, I guess, is dialing in the new subway section, which you can see is under here, and we'll get a better look at it a little bit later. And then essentially what's going to happen is kind of this building here is going to be where the wow, good morning, the ramp going down to the subway entrance, and then underneath this section is where the subway is, and there'll be escalators and elevators coming from this building. So this is kind of, this building, if and when it ever gets built, will be the subway entrance, and we'll have subway signs and the like. And here, this is that park area that I worked on. I like how that's working out. It may get moved, this kind of city square area, and then this area here, going through these buildings, is going to be this walkway area that I saw. There's a prototype kind of thing for it, and it's just a pedestrian-only walkway that goes through. So this area might get tightened up a little bit. These buildings might move in, these buildings might move in, and then the walkway will be there with, you know, little things, little details like, you know, vending machines and lots of people walking through and kind of a little servicey area. And then essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to work on that bike parking area as well, so that needs to be fit in this whole thing. So overall, I like the layout of the city area. I think that, you know, it's working. It's not square, which was a big thing, and that's where I put. You can see I'm using the unit tram plates in the back, but this front section is just a foam core sheet that I sprayed, and that'll have, you know, everything will have street markings and the like. But this allowed me to kind of break up the squareness of the unit tram plates. There, you can see back here. There's square sections, street sections, and then the actual tram track going across the street. It's all fine and good, but it was very square. And seeing some of the kind of prototypical locations I've been using for reference, you know, Japan is not a square city. There are a lot of angle streets and things going on, alleys and things of that nature. So this allowed me to, you know, again, I probably said this already, but allowed me to break it up so that I have some streets running this way and then some running this way, and, you know, get some angles going and, you know, kind of fun angle shapes with the buildings and the like as well. So that's pretty much it so far. You know, I'm working on things like, you know, cleaning track is really bothering me right now, and there's times where I just want to run, you know, run the tram around and have it kind of nicely cruise around. And yeah, I keep running into this dirty track issue where it's just, you know, I keep having to clean it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a small track cleaning car and you know, maybe something to pull it around. And, you know, when I'm working, you know, right behind this thing as well, I'll be able to run that track cleaning car around and keep the track clean, and won't have to worry about it as much. Won't have to do so much, you know, kind of detailed cleaning. Same with the you know, the track for the subway section. So that'll be good. And then I'll just keep working on, you know, doing the background and, you know, painting that in. And the next kind of big purchase thing I want to do is going to be those lights, because that'll be huge, because you can see I'm getting all sorts of shadows in the background. If I have lights on the ceiling, I won't have to address that. So I'm working on that right now. So that's pretty much the progress report. Try to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. And I will talk with everybody later. 後ろ後ろ後ろ向かずに歩いて行こう君と君と君と出会ったこの道を二人で何かを祈る気でどこまでも行こうよ愛の小道若い幸せよいつまでもラララ若い幸せよいつまでも会うと会うと会うと思いもしないでいたの会えて会えて会えて嬉しさと見上げる仲良く肩寄せたどりゆくまだ色に輝く星の小道若い幸せよいつまでもいつまでもいつまでもいつまでもいつまでもいつまでも